If you've ever scrolled your YouTube Shorts feed, I'm sure you're familiar with the Minecraft parkour videos and the Reddit stories with the AI voices on top. Now, I recently saw Baby Jamie1 make a video of some gameplay and then reading some Reddit stories and commenting on them. And I thought, why not try that out as somebody who likes to do more chill gameplays, kind of lower effort videos. So if you're looking for something to play in the background or serve as a bit of background noise and maybe some interesting Reddit stories, this is the thing for you. So this first one is by Jade Survivor, and it's called I Left a Note in My Apartment Hallway as a Joke, and it accidentally became the reason I didn't feel alone anymore. I just thought this was intriguing, especially because it got a lot of upvotes, so let's see what it's about. When I moved into my new place, I was in that phase where I kept telling people I was fine, and technically I wasn't lying. Like, I had Wi-Fi, I had unpacked maybe 3 boxes, I had 1 plate, 1 fork, and I'm pretty sure the spoon was actually from a yogurt cup. Most nights I'd eat cereal for dinner, sometimes just peanut butter on a tortilla standing at the counter. That sounds kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. Then I'd scroll TikTok until my eyes burned and fall asleep to those true crime videos where the guy has a weirdly soothing voice, just so it wasn't so quiet. Anyway, the building has this elevator that's been temporarily out of service since like 1987. One night, it broke again, shocker, and someone from management taped up a sign, "Elevator out of order, again, sorry." I was having one of those evenings where you feel like you need to do something or you'll go insane, so I grabbed a sticky note and added underneath, "If you need help with groceries or whatever, I'm in 3B, Alex." That is so cute. That is so sweet. I know this is going to showcase how nice of a thing this is and how much this is going to help if like you're feeling alone, like they said in the title. If you're feeling alone, I think this might be a good shout. If you are okay with interacting with people that you haven't really seen before. Then immediately thought, what did you just do? Now you're the weirdo who offers to help strangers. You can't even help yourself. But whatever, I figured no one would actually knock. Next evening I'm eating more cereal, dinner of champions, and there's a knock on my door. It's this older guy, maybe late 60s, holding 2 grocery bags and a case of water bottles. He looks exhausted. "You Alex?" Yeah? "Dieter, 4th floor." He shifts the water case. "Didn't want to bother you, but these stairs are not my friend today." So we haul his stuff up. He thanks me. That's it. But then the next day someone else knocks. Woman with a stroller and a toddler screaming, "Up, up, up!" on repeat. Then a college guy with a desk chair still in the box. Over the next week or so, that sticky note somehow turned into a whole thing. People started adding their own notes to the elevator door. "Alex is a real one, 2D. Elevator guy coming Thursday, maybe. Management. Someone took my DoorDash. Again. I know you're reading this. 4A. This is so fun. This is such a cute way of interacting with people that you normally maybe wouldn't necessarily. Free chair in the lobby if anyone wants it. And then one night I get home from work and there's a new note in really neat handwriting. "If you ever need anything, Onesie, Marta." I don't know why, but I just stood there, staring at it. Like a week later, I'm taking trash down at like 11 p.m, barely awake, and Dieter's just sitting on the 3rd floor landing, not doing anything, just sitting. "Stairs kicking your ass?" I ask. "Nah, just taking a break." He looks at me. "How you doing, Alex?" "Actually doing." "Fine." He doesn't say anything, just waits. And I don't know, maybe it was because it was late or because he wasn't being weird about it, but I told him the truth. Honestly, it's been kind of strange. First time living alone, I thought I'd like the quiet more. He nods. "Yeah, quiet's loud, isn't it?" Then after a second he adds, "When my wife died, I kept the TV on all the time, even when I was in the other room. Just needed to hear people talking." We just sat there for a minute. Then he got up and said goodnight. After that, things kept happening. Marta left a bag of clementines by my door with a note. You look like you need vitamin C. M. Someone made a new elevator sign that said, Day 9 without elevator. Society has collapsed. Send help. Dieter started giving me updates every time I saw him. Good news. They fixed the rating on 5. We're really moving up in the world, Alex. His jokes were not always great, but he committed to them. I started recognizing people. The guy in 2D who was always getting food delivered, the mom with the toddler, a couple on the second floor who argued loudly but not in a scary way. Nobody ever said we're friends now or anything. It just sort of happened. Last week I had a really long day at work and came home late. The hallway was empty, no one around, no notes in the elevator for the first time in a while. And I got that feeling again, the one from when I first moved in. The it's just you feeling. Then I saw a post-it on my door. Elevator's fixed, but we're still doing coffee Thursday, 6:30 in the lobby. You're coming, Marta. That is so sweet. I feel like Alex just kind of connected everybody in the apartment by just putting a little post-it note on the elevator saying, hey, if you need any help, I'm here. And it caused this big chain reaction of everybody just being nice to each other, kind of getting to know each other without really needing to say much. And it's so wholesome. People being people, socializing, because that is what people do and what people need. I don't even really like coffee, and I'm not great at small talk. And I kind of wanted to just go inside and eat cereal and watch YouTube. But I'm probably gonna go. I don't know. I guess I'm just realizing that everyone in this building was probably doing the same thing I was, pretending they were fine, eating random stuff for dinner, trying to figure out how to be a person, and maybe that sticky note didn't fix anything. But at least now, when I hear someone in the hallway, I don't feel like I'm the only one here. That is so beautiful. I love that so much. We need more positive stories. It's like somebody going from a really not super great situation, feeling like they're kind of alone, knowing that you're in a building full of other people who might potentially be going through the same thing, and then you connect over a post-it note or the elevator being broken. And that's so nice that something small like that can really help you be involved and feel less alone. And I know it's not easy to step out of your comfort zone, but I think this is a really nice portrayal of how small things, a little bit of kindness can go a long way. I feel like I've chosen kind of longer stories, so I don't know, it's not big drama or anything. It's just stories that got upvoted a bit more and looked kind of interesting to me based on just the title. So let's hop into the second one. The second one is by DC Cops. Fired for refusing my boss my garage code, he then tried to repo a car currently in his own lot. A throwaway because this is an active legal disaster. I'm still shaking with a mix of rage and adrenaline, but I need to document this. I've spent the last 3 years at a mid-sized logistics firm. My boss, Gary, is a classic G-Wagon driving ego tripper who thinks he owns his employees because he signs the checks. Yesterday, Gary called me into his office and demanded my garage door code. He claimed he was sending a maintenance guy to swap out my company sedan at my home while I was at my desk. What he didn't know, I hadn't driven the car home that day. It had an annoying, slow leak in the rear tire, so it was still parked in the office lot. I had taken my wife's SUV instead. I live in a rural area, and my garage is detached. It's where I keep about $10,000 in woodworking equipment, including a brand new cabinet saw I haven't even finished wiring up. I told him, absolutely not. I have the keys in my pocket and I'll just drive it to the shop myself tomorrow. Gary went nuclear. He started screaming about insubordination and withholding company assets. He gave me an ultimatum. Give him the code or I was fired for theft and he'd have the cops at my door. I didn't blink. I told him that if access to my private home was a condition of employment, then I was done. He told me to pack your shit and get out of this building right now. I followed his order to that letter. I left the car keys in his inbox on his desk, which was a mess of paperwork, and walked out without saying another word. Here's the thing. I didn't drive the company car to work that morning. Since Gary was too busy screaming to look out the window, he just assumed I'd driven it home like I usually do. About 2 hours later, my Ring camera pings. A hook and book tow driver Gary uses for cheap fleet moves is in my driveway. When he didn't see the car, he actually pulled a pry bar from his truck and started working on the side door of my detached garage. I called 911 and reported an active burglary. Because I'm out in the sticks, response times usually suck, but a county deputy happens to live 2 miles down my road. He was in my driveway in under 6 minutes and caught the guy mid-pry. The tow driver folded instantly. He showed the deputy text from Gary saying, "Employee terminated and is hiding the car in the garage. Do what you have to do to get it. I'll cover the door." The deputy called Gary to verify the theft. Gary, thinking he was being a hard ass, confirmed on a recorded line that he authorized the entry because I had stolen the vehicle. The deputy then drove to the office to recover the stolen vehicle. He found it parked exactly where I left it, 50 feet from Gary's office window. Gary was hauled out in zip ties for filing a false police report and solicitation to commit burglary. He apparently made it worse by resisting and screaming about his rights, which earned him an obstruction charge for good measure. My lawyer is already salivating over the wrongful termination and the attempted break-in. Gary tried to play God with my private property, and now he's figuring out how the legal system works from the back of a squad car. Whoa. This is a story and a half. I can fairly say that I have not done a job like that. Like, I have personally never done a 9-to-5 job for a big CEO, so I have never run into a CEO that behaves like this. I also can't believe people behave like this and feel this entitled, and that they don't communicate properly with their people and just see them as, I don't even know how Gary sees his employees. I can't believe that if you're working with people, you don't just treat them as people and you just go, actually, if you don't give me this, then you are fired. So that's crazy. What would you do in a situation like this? I feel like it's the only thing that made sense. I feel like Op made a really good choice for what he did. The only valid choice to be like, heck no, I'm not giving you my private info. The car is right there. You can get it right there. I'm assuming that Gary has probably done so many things to the point where you're just like, I'm not even gonna bother anymore because you're not gonna listen anyway. But wouldn't you have just gone, the car's literally right here. I didn't come here with the car because something's wrong with it. It's literally in the garage. Don't even worry about it. I feel like it could have avoided this whole situation, but then probably at another point, Gary would have gone nuclear again over something else. So I feel like Ob is probably better off not working in that place anymore. But then again, job market sucks. So hope that you found a better job. Ob, there is an update actually, or like extra info on it. So it goes like this. Gary is out on bail and HR is in full damage control. Apparently, the tow driver had a work order Gary typed up claiming the company car was being actively stripped for parts inside my garage. That's why he thought he could use a pry bar. He's now cooperating with the police to save his own business license, and I'm not sure how that will play out. That's actually crazy, because Gary is literally also messing with somebody else's livelihood without even thinking about it. I can't fathom that. The car's GPS logs and the office security footage prove it never left the company lot. Gary literally reported it stolen while it was parked right outside his office window. I think that just also shows how little he knows about what he owns or what he has given with the company to its employees. This feels like such a messy situation, and it could have been so avoided with just like clear communication, you know. But isn't that the way of like almost every issue going on ever? It's like, oh, if we would all just communicate properly, it would probably be fine. It would probably be okay. The company owner called me twice today, offering a massive raise to come back and help resolve the misunderstanding, aka please drop the charges. I told him to speak to my lawyer, as you freaking should. What a mess. You don't just drop this issue for no reason, because something like this is likely to happen again. My wife is pretty shaken by the break-in attempt, so we're staying with her parents for a few days. I'm stuffed, but my lawyer says Gary basically handed us a blank check with that authorized entry phone call. I'm gonna go off the grid for a bit to decompress. Thanks for all the advice. That's true. He basically full-on confessed. He felt like a big tough guy and was like, yeah, I gave the order to do that. What about it? Not very smart, Gary. Oh my god, there's an actual subreddit called F Gary. Oh my god, I didn't know that. That's crazy. I never understand when people can just be like that, mess up like that. Blows my absolute mind. Okay, do you guys want the third story? I feel like a third story is welcome. There are 3 really different stories. If anybody's still listening or watching, let me know if you want to see more of this and if you then want it to be like a theme throughout the video. Alright, so this next story is a Am I the A-hole story by FileUsual3559, and it's called Am I the A-hole for wanting my stepsister to leave my wedding after she caused a scene over the seating plan and for later pulling back and stopping the help we used to give my mum's partner? I, 31 female, married my husband, 31 male, last year. We planned most of the wedding ourselves with help from friends. It was a wonderful day overall, but also extremely stressful and emotional. Some background: my mum has been with her partner for many years, but they are not married. He has a daughter, 30 female. For simplicity, I'll call her my stepsister, although we are not close and only see each other at family events. Shortly before my wedding, she was pregnant and had just been left by her partner. At the time, I genuinely felt very sorry for her and tried to be considerate of what she was going through. For the seating plan, I placed her at a table with people her age, including my sister and my cousin, early 30s. I honestly thought this was reasonable and normal. When she arrived and saw the seating chart, she had a very strong emotional reaction. She started crying loudly, yelling, and stomping her feet in front of the other guests. I'm sorry, why are we causing a scene like a toddler when we're in our 30s? That's crazy. Over a seating chart? There are different ways you could go about this. At first, I thought something serious had happened. I was already overwhelmed and under a lot of pressure, and I have ADHD, which makes emotional regulation in stressful moments difficult for me. I didn't say anything directly to her, but I told my sister that if she didn't calm down, I wanted her to leave, because I felt close to breaking down myself and just wanted the situation to stop. I feel like, in general, a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations rest on the bride's shoulders, or bride-to-be's shoulders, which is absolutely insane. I guess it's her family, but still, I feel like other people could handle this and make it a little bit easier. Her father, my mum's partner, became angry at me, and said I should understand because she was pregnant and had been abandoned, and asked why I hadn't seated her next to them. He didn't comment on her behavior. See, fair, my first reaction when I read the seating chart idea was, oh, you would put them next to people she knows so that she can talk to them. Although I don't know what the whole family situation is. Maybe she does know the sister and yada yada yada. But I get that this was not the scene that needed to be caused like this, you know? There would have been different ways to go about it. Anywho, in the end, the seating was changed so that she sat between my mum and her father, and another couple had to squeeze awkwardly at the end of the table. What hurt me deeply was that my mum came to me during my wedding and criticized me, saying I had handled everything wrong and that my stepsister and her father were upset. On the wedding day, you couldn't have, at the very least waited to say it. It's so unnecessary to put this pressure on the bride, who, wasn't even intendly trying to do something wrong here. And then you go and ruin it even more. That's... On a day that was supposed to be about my husband and me, I felt blamed and unsupported, of course. Later, several guests told me they thought her reaction seemed very childish and attention-seeking, but at the time, I mostly felt overwhelmed and guilty, wondering what I could have done differently. Of course. If the people closest to you are coming up to you and are being like, that was absolutely not okay, then I would feel like that myself as well. After the wedding, the situation never really resolved. While I was later in a clinic for ADHD and OCD treatment, my mum and I argued again about it. Out of frustration, I said my husband would no longer mow her partner's lawn when they go on vacation, something he had done regularly as a favor. After that, I tried to stay out of it emotionally, because I honestly wasn't in a good mental state to handle more conflict. Also, is it that big of a deal where you're seated at somebody else's wedding? Like, I understand that it might not fully be to your liking, but to cause such a big scene about it and then bring it up again when the person's not like in a really good mental state, that I can't fathom. Once again, I cannot fathom that. Her partner then contacted my husband directly to ask him to do it anyway. My husband refused, as he should. Slay. This was ultimately his own decision. He said he no longer felt comfortable continuing because he recognizes certain unhealthy behavior patterns from his own childhood and doesn't want to tolerate or enable them anymore. Claps. Claps for the husband. Claps for your husband. I am so glad that the husband is supporting the wife, as he should. Now my mum's partner is very angry at both of us. Annoying, unnecessary. We were not invited for Christmas and are treated as if we are no longer part of the family. Over a seating chart. I still think about this a lot. I know she was in a very vulnerable situation back then, and I truly did have compassion for her. At the same time, it was my wedding day, and the scene was incredibly overwhelming and painful for me. So I'm wondering, am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. In my opinion, absolutely not. It was your wedding day, very stressful day. You tried to create a good situation. Ended up not being what the person needed, but they didn't need to cause a scene. The parent, your mum and the partner didn't need to cause a scene, make you feel awful about this, and then not invite you to Christmas because your husband didn't want to mow their lawn anymore over this whole emotional situation that is making you feel absolutely awful. I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like I can kind of get really into this kind of stuff sometimes. Like with situations like this, I'm really like, oof. I think that's it for today. If you listened or watched all the way, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, or it was interesting to hear these stories, or maybe relaxing. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of the stories, and if you maybe want to see more of this, if you want to see certain themes, and if you like this, maybe also consider subscribing and liking the video. And then maybe I will do it again. Okie doke. Toodles. Bye bye bye.